the roots of the problem. It is impossible to discuss the current crises in the so-called Middle East, one wonders, Middle East of what, without examining the history which led to the creation of Israel and the role of what is often called, mistakenly in my view, the international community. Long before Israel became a geopolitical reality, discussions were had in London and in New York about giving displaced Jews lands of settlement. These discussions led to what's known as the British Declaration of Mandate over Palestine. For many historically minded Palestinians, September 11th rings bells completely unrelated to what happened in New York in 2001. That date, in 1922, marked the British government's proclamation of its mandate. Shortly thereafter, in 1970, the British government issued its Balfour Declaration, after British statesman author James Balfour, which promised a national home for the Jewish people. Balfour ordered the seizure of Arab lands to grant to European Jews. It is telling that Balfour didn't offer any British land for such a project. Some years ago, while Britain's Foreign Secretary, Balfour said, "In Palestine, we do not propose to go through the form of consulting the wishes of the present inhabitants of the country. Zionism, be it right or wrong, good or bad, is rooted in age-old tradition, in present needs, in future hopes, of far profounder import than the desires and prejudices of the 700,000 Arabs who now inhabit that ancient land." In a recent book written by British journalist Robert Fisk, is cited the views of the historian George Antonius, who as early as 1938 wrote about the future of blood, loss, and war that would befall Israel and the region if the Jewish state were placed there. Fundamentally, George Antonius spoke about the inherent injustice in the British colonial plan. The treatment meted out to Jews in Germany and other European countries is a disgrace to its authors and to modern civilization. But posterity will not exonerate any country that fails to bear its proper share of the sacrifices needed to alleviate Jewish suffering and distress. To place the brunt of the burden upon Arab Palestine is a miserable evasion of the duty that lies upon the whole of the civilized world. It's also morally outrageous. No code of morals can justify the persecution of one people in an attempt to relieve the persecution of another. The cure for the eviction of Jews from Germany is not to be sought in the eviction of the Arabs from their homeland, and the relief of Jewish distress may not be accomplished at the cost of inflicting a corresponding distress upon an innocent and peaceful population. Those remarkable words were written in 1938. But historians don't guide history. They write it long after its passing. Of course, after a UN-brokered partition and the withdrawal of the British after a blistering campaign of Jewish terrorism, the State of Israel was born on May 14, 1948. One need not look to the Jewish, Christian, or Islamic scriptures to find the injustice that lies at the heart of this matter. As the United Nations and Britain, in its role as imperial overlord, gave rise to this problem, it cannot be the author of a viable solution. From its birth to its present state as U.S. proxy, Israel has not known peace in its 58 years of existence. It is a military state, defined as much by its persecution of the indigenous people of the land as by the persecutions in Europe that led to its founding. It has led to the present day's power relation that marks Israel as a ruthless aggressor in the region, with few friends now and fewer in the foreseeable future. Scholar and former U.S. diplomat William Polk, in his 1991 book, The Arab World Today, wrote, "The powerful view the weak as irresponsible, violent, untrustworthy, and illegal, and as either actual or potential terrorists, while the powerless see those in power as tyrants who are using the apparatus of the state and the law unfairly and mercilessly to strip them of their possessions, their security, indeed, their very humanity. Such roots can only lead to bitter fruits." From death row, this is Mumia, Abu.